Thank you, everyone. This is Ronnie B, and you're here for the Prosperous Divas Workshop, creating inevitable results from future thinking. And we're so glad that you're here this evening. It's always great to be amongst fellow prosperity thinkers. And tonight we got a lot to cover tonight. We're going to be going really fast. So, if you're not able to get all the details, don't worry. We will be posting it to the website, prosperousdivas.com, and you'll be able to see it on YouTube and other places. So if you don't get everything, don't worry about it. And we got another workshop to do that's for free, that you'll get a flavor of how we operate with the Prosperous Divas. Now, before we start anything, we always create the space of pragmatic possibility. So let's just kick everything off with a little bit from the Prosperous Divas, and we're going to kick it off right now.
It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I feel good. I'm going to keep it simple. Stevie Wonder said it better. We pledge allegiance all our lives to the magic colors, red, blue, and white. And we all must be given the liberty to defend. Because if justice not for all men, history will repeat again. Not fighting for equality past tense. Because history repents. And we're the people only skinned with pigment. The day has come where all is one under the sun in America. Done. Separation undone. Because we are all responsible, so come join. See the eyes of the people run. Yes. Our future is being sworn in, and it could be your son or your daughter, so make plans. This is history, and we're living it. Only one of the cries of the civil rights that has made it. 4.3 million on a split of the people who has witnessed it. No, this is not a dream. No, this is not a dream. No, this is not a dream. He's a real man, putting his hand up to be sworn in as the first black president. So let us stand, band together, and raise our hands. Because yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we did. The first black president, Barack Obama, a black man. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. And I feel good.
Action creates confidence. As you witness yourself taking action and getting results, your confidence grows. The experience of taking on the small challenges, repeated over and over again, gives you confidence to tackle the big challenges. It's impossible to gain true confidence by wishing for it or asking for it. The only way to build confidence in your own ability is to utilize that ability every chance you get. Apathy and inactivity breed doubt and hesitation. Action creates confidence and vigor. No task is too small or unimportant because every positive result you work to create also works to strengthen your confidence. If you want to know without a doubt that you can handle the major jobs, always be willing to jump in and help with the minor jobs. Make your confidence realistic by basing it on a depth of experience, and every day is filled with opportunities to add to that experience. Embrace all the tasks, big and small, that build your confidence and strengthen your ability. With enough real, honest confidence, nothing is out of your reach. Please join us for the Prosperous Divas upcoming 10-session seminar in July, Creating Love to Build Wealth. Prosperous Divas, Prosperity is a mindset that can be created by anyone. ProsperousDivas.com.
I always love that prosperity is a mindset that can be created by anyone. Now, tonight's workshop, we're going, like I said, we're going to be moving with velocity and intention. So tonight, what we're focusing on is distinguishing an inevitable result, specific measurable results, SMRs, integrity, and future thinking, designing results from the future, the Merlin principle. I think you're going to really, really enjoy the Merlin principle. Now, distinguishing inevitable results. What is inevitable? What is inevitable? Now, the dictionary says as an adjective, certain to happen, unavoidable. A noun, a situation that is unavoidable. Now, I want you to think about something for a minute. Just really kind of think about it. What comes to mind when you hear the word inevitable? Now, is it something powerful or foreboding? It's inevitable. Or is it something powerful? Does it occur as something in a fantasy or something real, concrete, tangible? Now, this is really an important question. Does it occur as something, like supernatural, outside the realm of your control? It's inevitable the stars and the moon and the sun will line up and strike. What control do you have over that? Is it a fantasy? Finally I meet the love of my life. It was inevitable. Or is it something real, something concrete, something tangible that you can wrap your hands around it? Or as we said, is it something that you find is foreboding, like bad news? That dark cloud is going to strike me. Well, when you hear the word inevitable, is it something to avoid? An unforeseen problem lurking in the future, ready to stop your progress. Something to keep it at bay as long as you can, like the little cat in the picture. The little cat is sitting up there, oh no, it's trying to get out of that bathtub, but it's inevitable. My man is going to spray him with the water. And the other one, being challenged in life is inevitable. Being defeated is optional. And we want to, it is optional. So we want to make sure that, that you think about that. Being challenged in life is inevitable. Being defeated is optional. What if inevitable is not something to fear or be concerned about? What if? I want you to think. You notice we're asking questions. We're not giving you answers because you're smart enough to come up with answers and to create it. But what if inevitable is not something to fear or be concerned about? What if inevitable was an access or tool that you use in being powerful? Inevitable could be a tool that you use in being powerful. Now, what if you're missing the power of inevitable because a conversation has you focused on an imaginary punishment you deserve? See, oftentimes you've heard of the Matrix, the Matrix, and the all the unforeseen, the Matrix that we in. Well, these conversations break you out of the Matrix because the Matrix is something that you create in your own mind, but express in conversation. And guess what? The fabric of your life is in conversation. The fabric, what you live, your experience, is all wrapped around your conversations. And inevitable is a conversation. Or I should say, you can create it as a conversation, and we're going to find out a little bit more about that. Now, the power of inevitable. Dreams at first seem impossible, then seem improbable, and finally, when we commit ourselves, become inevitable. Does that statement kind of point to a power to create that you may not have been tapping into? Now, growing old is inevitable, And my father used to always say this, he had an old saying, and he said, boy, if you don't want to grow old, you got to die young. Now, I'm in that camp of, I'm trying to be like Medusa. I want to get hanging out with Moses, Medusa. I want to be around a while. But and growing old is inevitable. Now, again, we have, and I guess you said, we're giving you more questions than answers, because that's how we work our seminars and workshops. We inquire, we think. We don't bestow our great knowledge upon you so that you, the people, will get what we know. No, we're well as you. We're peeling away the onion. We're mixing the chemistry together and see what happens. We're creating, we're learning, we're developing. So none of the Prosperous Divas, myself, the crew at Old Grumpy Radio, the Prosperity team, the Mind, and the hundreds of other people who work with us, we are in the inquiry. We're learning. We're doing the assignments. We're doing the work. So we get where you are at. Now, what are some inevitable results that are out of your control? Well, there are a lot of inevitable results that are out of your control. Death and birth. People will move on. They will do that. And that's inevitable. And you can't control that. You can play with it. You can do things. You can do things to yourself. Well, I'm going to eat better and exercise and whatever. But it is inevitable that you'll be moving on from this realm in some form or fashion. Now, there are some inevitable results that are within your control. But first, you have to kind of look at, wow, an inevitable result can be within your control. See, that means that you and the result and inevitable have some power together. It's not just something that will just happen. You're not going to see. Most of us think of inevitable as something where we're going to be the victim of the result. So in this workshop, this time we have tonight, we're going to give you a little flavor, just a sense, because we have all-day workshops that we do on weekends where we just really get into the nuts and the bolts and you create, and we have exercises and games, and you really get a facility around inevitable and creating inevitable results. But there are a couple of accesses that we'll be able to give you tonight that'll just give you a little flavor, put you on track, let you, like a little, we can't give you the whole pie, but you can get a nice slice to get a flavor if you even want to try out the pie. Now, there are a couple of accesses that will help you create inevitable results. And more importantly, the inevitable you desire. The first access is what we call specific measurable results, or SMERS. Like to call. Do you have any SMERS today? That's our little coin phrase, SMERS. Specific measurable results. The second access is integrity. Now, I know people hear integrity. I am in integrity. We're not talking about your moral integrity, because that is where it is, and that is important. But that's something that you would say for yourself. We look at integrity from what we call workability, and we're going to get into that a little bit further on. And then what we call future thinking, which is designing from the future. Now, you might go, how do you design from the future? There's my past and the present. I'm right here in the present, but the future isn't there. We got a little insight for you about future. Future thinking, designing from the future. Now, producing specific measurable results, or SMERS. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When you get some mastery and facility with producing specific measurable results, producing SMERS, it is like magic. It is. It's like magic. And you see results, because then you start seeing result. My God, I was getting results, but man, now that when you start really practicing this access to specific measurable results, it's like I said, like magic. And for those who are entrepreneurs in business, or you're just trying to increase your wealth, you know, you might be working with a financial advisor. You might be in the real estate and whatever. You know, if you're in business, or you might be a single mom going to work, doing her thing, or a single dad doing his thing. This will impact all areas. Now, first off, what is specific? What is specific? Now, you can't produce a specific measurable result if you don't know what specific is. So the dictionary says that specific is adjective, clearly defined or identified, or noun, a precise detail. Well, okay. Now, what is measurable? Adjective, able to be measured, large enough to be measured, noticeable, definite. What is a result? Noun, consequence, effect, or outcome of something. Verb, occur or follow as the consequence of something. Now, we can't have a conversation for specific measurable results unless we have a distinction or a clarity on what that is. What is specific? What is measurable? What is result? Now, a lot of you think that you are very specific. And guess what? You are not. You are very vague, and you know what you're doing, and nobody else does. How many of you can sit down and write down instructions that someone can actually follow to the letter and get the result? Try it. Try it. See what you drop out, what you don't put in, what you miss, what detail is in your mind that don't make it to the paper. Specific, measurable results. Now, there are some components of specific, measurable results. Now, you can get the guys, they happy over here. They're like, yeah, I know my result, that money falling down from, in the sky. Well, okay, there's a little bit more to that. Now, one of the components is the result is finite, absolute. I want my business to grow in ways that have everyone involved make a nice profit. Now, that's a good statement. That's something I can, hey, I'm with you. I want to do that. But it's vague. Our goal is to create a 30% return on investment for our investors. Now, note, you know what you're doing there. Now, that's specific. It's finite, 30%. Well, what kind of profit you got? 30% return on investment for our investors. That's specific. Now, both good statements in the world are good. I mean, hey, I want to work with somebody who wants to make a nice profit for everybody, but the power is in being specific. The result is measurable. Over the next 12 months, we'll have a sales team to push our products. Now, hey, you're going to have that sales team in 12 months, but, that's kind of vague. What kind of sales? How many people? It's not measurable. By the end of the year, we will hire 3 employees. That's specific and measurable. You either did it or you didn't. You had 3, you had 2, you had 1, maybe you had 4, but the result is specific. Which one would you say is more powerful? The result always has a time limit, a by when. Now, in our first year, we'll build a large sales team. Vague. By the end of 12 months, we'll have a 60-member sales team. We will add 5 new sales team members each month. Now that's specific. That's measurable. That's something you can get, you can work, you can put in concrete, work your hands around. Now, we want you to take the time and create as many smears for all the actions that need to be completed for your specific desire to be fulfilled. So kind of hinted to it in that last one. By the end of 12 months, we'll have a 60-member sales team. We'll add 5 new sales team members each month. Now you can start, see, that's something where you can start breaking it down and being specific. Well, if I want to have 5 sales team members each month, okay, we're going to do this we got to interview how many people? Might have to interview 10. Well, I got to interview 20 people a month to hire 5 sales team members. Hey, you got to start getting specific. Your actions start being specific. Now, you want to have someone you trust be your committed listener. Now, you will share what you want to accomplish, your smears, and you promise to them you will take the actions. Now, if you fail, you make a new promise. Now, your committed listener, and this is really important about the committed listener, you don't want someone that's going to coach you or have sympathy for you. No, you don't want to do that. Now, you may get a coach. You know, I'm a strong proponent of get a coach. Coaches work in business and life. What you're up to, coaches work. But this committed listener is a little bit different. This is someone who you trust, who's someone that, one, you trust that they'll listen, and 2, you trust that they're not going to give you coaching or any sympathy. What they are going to do is listen to you powerfully from the commitment that you created so that you can hear yourself. Now, you might be venting, you might be whining, but the main thing is if you failed at any step, that you make a new promise, and they are the ones who hear you make that new promise. Now, we were speaking earlier about being vague and being specific. A few years ago, I meet this really, really great young lady, just on the ball, on point, and she's got this new business opportunity, and she's working the program. And I'm like, wow, you're getting down with that. That's awesome work that you're doing. And this is not her name, but I'm just going to say her name was Mary. And Mary, I was like really impressed, her work ethic, what she brought to the game. And she, talked to me, well, I really think that you should participate in this business that I'm working on. And there's, and she gave me the spiel, all the advantages and opportunities. And I'm like, okay, well, this sounds pretty good. And I asked her this question. I said, well, how much money do you intend to make your first year? And she kind of looked at me like, huh? How much money do I intend to make? Well, how much money do you think? What's your goal? What you want to set up for your first year? Well, I don't want to limit myself. And I was, okay, you don't want to limit yourself. Well, let me tell you something about the universe. If you can't say what you want, odds are you're not going to get it, because it will be a moving, and it'll be something that's always one step away or down the road. See, when you get specific, then forces can line up behind having that fulfilled. And the actions you take, you'll find out if they work, don't work, and you can make adjustments. But as long as you kind of make it vague, kind of out there, then you never, ever, 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 ever have to be responsible for producing the result. Now, this is where you get bit in the ass. Because like with this young lady, you mean you want me to participate in a business where we don't have a goal for how much money we're going to make in a year? We just supposed to just make it unlimited. Well, yeah, I love to have unlimited money. I'm sure that there are many wealthier people who go, yeah, I'd like to have unlimited, and they ain't got unlimited money, but they don't feel like they have a limit or a legal goals. They set something that they can measure to see if they're being effective. Now, as you can guess, I did not do, because if you can't say what you're going to accomplish, how can I trust what we're doing? You know, even if she said, "Look, what I'm expecting is to make 10, 20,000," or if she said, "Well, I expect to make $1,000,000," doesn't mean I'm gonna be, "Oh, you're gonna make $1,000,000." I might not believe it, but I know what she's shooting for, what we're working toward. And you've heard those saying, "Hey, you may aim for the stars and land on the moon, but good night, look what you did." But if it's gonna be something nebulous, you'll never, ever, ever get there. It'll always be a moving target. Now, as we said earlier, you want to sit down, you want to look at those specific measurable results. Look at what you want to have, what you want to have in the pocket, in the bank, in your life. If you want to have we had the different categories: romance, business, family. If there's something that you want to have, create specific measurable results and then backtrack. See what it's going to take to make each component of that result be fulfilled. And the most important part, by when. How many times have you asked somebody to do something, they say, "Oh, no problem," and then it never got done. And then 2 weeks later, you call back and go, "Well, hey, man, Charlie, I asked you about so-and-so, and, well, man, you didn't say you needed it right away." Well, guess what? You didn't. When you start making requests to people and you put a by when, "Charlie, I need the engine fixed for the car by Tuesday of next week." Now, Charlie might go, "Oh, hey, Ronnie B, that ain't happening. We can't get it done. We need to party." Well, by when? Note I said by when will you have it done? Well, Ronnie B, we'll have it done Thursday. Now I know I can't have my car until Thursday. By when? If you're approaching a prospective customer and they go, "Well, yeah, I really like to discuss what you're offering, and we need to get together next." Well, by when? When would you like to get together? Would you like to, as a matter of fact, can we get together Thursday at 3 o'clock? You start being specific. Now, I've talked a lot, and you've had to listen to my voice for a while, so we're going to give you a chance to get a little break, go to the potty if you need to. You can, you might even want to start writing down what you want to have in those different areas. Write them down and start creating specific measurable results that you want to create for what you want to have. I want our business to blow up. I want it to be internationally known. Millions of people attending, listening to our broadcasts, attending our seminars. I want that. And I work to have specific measurable results. Oh, in 6 months, we will have 10 workshops created. Each workshop will have 100 attendees. You start breaking it down, and then you start going, "Well, by when will this action happen?" Okay, but again, I want you to take a few minutes so that you can get a glass of water, get ready for our final session. Now, since I am the one who gets to control the clock, we're going to take about a 6-minute, let's say a 6.5 minute break, and we'll come back at 7:35, okay? So that'll give you enough time to hit the little boys' room, whatever. We'll be back 7:35, and enjoy this little selection during the break.
Me down
about you, but the player in me, and it's not you. Oh, he told me it's not you. Now what am I supposed to say? He didn't think about me or my feelings anyway. Giving me the eye, hoping all is okay. Man, his selfish way. So I'm not gonna listen to the things he's trying to explain. To the bullshit you keep saying. But I know that it's not me. 'Cause it's all about you. Never mind the trauma that you put me through. Never mind the time that I've given you. Never mind the fact that I thought that you were true. Out of all the things that you could say, you threw my way. This is the best of the days we say. This is the best and the best you could say. And it's really me. I really need to take the time to find me. And it's not you. It's really me. I'm so sorry, but I'm down ready. And it's not you. It's really me. I really care about you, but the player in me. And it's not you. It's not you.
Okay, I'm sorry, baby, but settle it down. It's something I ain't ready for. And the diamond ring is something you've been waiting for. And I know we have plans to have kids in the house, in the country, in a big backyard. But honestly, girl, I can't think that far. And I still have some options I would like to explore. But I'm hoping that we could still be friends. I ain't leaving because I'm cheating. Okay? I just know the problem is me. Baby, it's not you.
It's really me. I really need to take the time to find me. And it's not you. It's really me. I'm so sorry, but I'm not ready. And it's not you. It's really me. I really care about you, but the player in me. And it's not you. It's not you.
Success demands specifics. Success demands specifics. Did you know that you can be immensely successful, but you cannot be ambiguously successful? Think about it. You always possess great potential. To be realized and manifested, that potential must have a precise target. Whatever your personal limitations and shortcomings may be, life's greatness can flow through you in limitless measure. For that to happen, you must give it somewhere to flow. When you set your mind upon a purpose and commit yourself to fulfill that purpose, positive energy suddenly floods into your life. Every act, every thought, every moment, every circumstance brings opportunity to make progress. It doesn't really matter if your purpose seems silly or trivial, unsophisticated, or even incomprehensible to others. What does matter, though, is that it matters to you and that you focus on it with all that you have. You are filled in every moment with life's miraculous energy, eager to be put to use. Direct that energy in a specific, meaningful way, and the results will be nothing. I said nothing short of amazing. Your success demands specifics.
Your highest goodness. You cannot take more than you give. It is impossible to sustain for longer than the blink of an eye. You can, however, give more than you take. And that is what makes your experience of living so beautiful. Value exists for you to the extent you invest yourself in it. Fulfillment is generated by what you do with what you have, not by what you seize or possess. You cannot sneak past the necessity of providing a contribution to each day. The desire to make a difference is part of you, and the more readily you embrace it, the better. Don't spin your wheels in a futile attempt to gain something for nothing. See that the gain is in the doing, and then do. Let go of what frustrates you, and let in what empowers and fulfills you. Give your highest goodness and effort to life, and know how good life can be. Please join us for the Prosperous Divas upcoming 10-session seminar in July, Creating Love to Build Wealth. Prosperous Divas. Prosperity is a mindset that can be created by anyone. ProsperousDivas.com.
All right, welcome back from the break. Okay, kick back, sit down, strap in, because we're on for a rocket ride during the next session of the workshop here. And as I said, we will be moving along with velocity. Now, we said that there were a couple of accesses to be able to create inevitable results from future thinking. And one access is specific, measurable results. Vagueness is the enemy, my friend. It is the enemy of you creating results that are powerful and move your desires forward into manifestation. Run from vagueness. People want to be vague. Do not play with them. Do not play the vague game. Be specific. And I'm going to warn you. They will resist. Remember the Matrix? We talked about the Matrix. The Matrix is all those people out there who are not being specific, who are trying to draw you into the world of vagueness and mediocrity and excuses and reasonableness when you can be being powerful and having the life you love and a life you want to live. Now, the second access is integrity. Integrity. Integrity is the foundation that allows for powerful results to be produced with blazing fast velocity. Now, in our workshops, seminars, courses, we always distinguish integrity as the state of being whole and complete, honoring one's word as oneself. When we honor our word, it gives power to our communications and creates a world that has possibility and power to us. When people listen to us powerfully, we naturally attract the prosperity we desire. Honoring our word is not just speaking truth or keeping promises. Honoring our word requires being responsible for our words. Our words command the universe to form itself to match what we speak. Now, I'm going to go on a little bit more about integrity. Now, we have one of our, hosts of one of our show, a really great man, Joe Minus Mind Miller. Now, Joe Minus Mind Miller, he doesn't wear it on. I put it like this: he served honorably in the Navy. Served honorably, and and went to Annapolis. So he has a lot of personal integrity. Now, we're not talking about his personal integrity, but he would know this, and this would be called, there's what you call when you have a submarine. A submarine has what they call watertight integrity, because guess what? If it doesn't, it sinks. So it's got to have integrity. If you're on a bicycle, if you look at a bicycle, it's got spokes. If one of the spokes is out of alignment, then the bike wobbles. There's the integrity. So what we're looking at is integrity as workability. Now there's moral integrity, and that's a matter of faith, spirituality, but we're not talking about right, wrong, bad, good. We're talking about integrity from workability. And when you're honoring your word as yourself, and you're honoring your word, if you make a promise and you're not able to keep the promise, you let the person know as soon as you can that, hey, look, I'm not able to keep my word, my promise, and you make a new promise to restore your word. But it's a proactive action. So integrity is critical if you want to be able to create results that are inevitable from future thinking. You have to now something to give you a little, just a little empathy here. The integrity is always going out, and you're always restoring it. because you'll make big, bold, bodacious promises. Hey, we're going to have $1 million in sales by the end of the year, and this is what we're going to do, and you may fail. Well, then there's an integrity if you honor who you were being and the words you were speaking during the process. And you may fail. You go, we did not make the $1 million. My word was we were going to have $1 million, and we failed. And you can honor that and restore your integrity powerfully. And maybe you made $900,000, but you played the game. Now, biggest asset to give you some freedom, give you a break, is tell the truth. The truth will set you free. How many times have you oversold the expectations trying hard to make the sale? How did that work out for you? How many times have you told yourself to offer a lower price or make a deal and make a deal to get the deal when you knew your services were worth way more? How did that work out? When you don't tell the truth, it creates the context for failure, and the work occurs as a burden. The occurring world for all involved is one of uncertainty. Now, maybe you haven't had this experience, but as a young entrepreneur, and I wish I could say, I'm going to tell the truth. Young entrepreneur, old entrepreneur, there have been times when I'm trying to make the deal, to get it done, I've cut a price or lowered the rate. And every time I have done that, it has bit me in the ass. Because invariably what happens is I lower my price and the customer is even more demanding of the results. So once everything is all said and done, I busted my behind, the customer isn't happy, and I gave him a deal on the price. Now I'm sure there's some of you here who have been in that same situation. It was already a setup for failure. Why? Because I didn't honor who I am. I didn't honor the work that I produce. And if it's I didn't honor the companies, the people who support me by cutting the deal, just so I could get the customer. And what I learned is that there's no integrity in lowering my price to make a deal. None, nada. It always ends up biting you in the behind. And, and I'll say more when I was younger, it was the overselling the expectations. Promising the moon, and then, oh man, I promised the moon so I could get the money, get the sale. And then it, doesn't turn out right because I can't deliver. And I could have offered something. This is the thing that really kicks me in the behind. I could have offered something that was reasonable and that I could produce and do well with quality. But trying to get that cash, okay, well, yeah, I can do. No. So now, know what I can produce, and I can stand for the quality. And if they do not want to pay for it, it's thank you, I got it. You can work with somebody who's a little bit cheaper. You can work with them, but this is how much I'm charging. And I'm probably underselling myself. And that's something you may learn. That you're underselling yourself, trying to make deals and overselling expectations, that you really have a gem and you don't even know it. Don't even know it. Now, let's move on. Now, the final segment we're going to do tonight, and this is probably the most important one, is called Future Thinking, the Merlin Principle. The Merlin Principle, there's only so much time in a single lifetime. Our time here is finite. We can choose to start working on achieving our dreams now. When we put our mind to something, we can achieve so much more than we imagine if only we allowed ourselves. Now, there's a scene in King Arthur and Merlin where Arthur as a young lad he first meets Merlin. And when he gets there, the table is set. There's a cup of tea, a bowl of soup, and some bread. And he asked Merlin, did you know that, I was coming? And he said, well, I live in the future. Of course. See, there's the past, which is already gone. Then there's the present, which is now. And then there's the future that's yet to be created. Now, the thing with the Merlin principle is that future that's being created, you're creating it in the present and living into it. So that future has not manifested in the physical world, but you created it. And in the present, you're living into it. Now, we have what we want you to do is we want you to spend, and you're not going to do it tonight, but write these down. You want to spend 20 to 30 minutes writing what you want your life to look like in 20 years. Now, let your mind run wild. What do you really want? Where you are living? The place and the type of accommodation? What you're spending your days doing? Is it a white sandy beach with the love of your life? Drinking tropical drinks with the little umbrellas in it? Or is it, spending time with your family, friends, loved ones, children, participating in some community, making a difference? What have you achieved? What are you planning to achieve? Now remember, this is 20 years. 20 years. You're already in the 20 years. What do you feel like? Are you peaceful, happy, fit, healthy, energetic? Now, you are worth 20 to 30 minutes of your time to write these things down. You are worth it. Now, if your mind tries to tell you to do something else, you might want to tell your mind to shut up, go to its corner, and you take control. You as in you, not your mind. Your mind is something you have. Your mind doesn't have you. You have a mind. So you run the show, not your mind. Now, again, we want you to spend 20 to 30 minutes, and as I'm talking, you can be writing and putting that down, but we want you to spend 20 to 30 minutes writing what you want your life to look like in 20 years' time. Let your mind run wild. What do you really want? Look at all the areas and just start writing. Start putting it pen and paper. Now, there's another step. As you're writing those down, okay, don't worry, you can keep writing. After this workshop is over, you can keep working on it or take notes. Now, once you've completed the first part of the exercise, we want you to do the same thing, but this time, note down what must have been achieved in 10 years' time for your life to truly look the way you have composed in 20 years' time. And you want to spend about 10 minutes doing this. Okay? So you want to, hey, all right, 20 years in the future, this is how my life looks. It is great. I have the house and don't forget to have specific measurable. I have the house that I want, and it looks like this, and it has this kind of furnishing. It has these kind of bedrooms. It's got this kind of backyard. It has a pool. And whatever it is, just get as detailed and specific as you can. I'll be retired, or I won't be retired. I'll have income coming from 5 different sources. And, whatever it is, I'll have a harem. For those who in 20 years would like to have I'll have a harem, or whatever that is. And ladies can have a harem, too, because I work with Prosperous Divas, and they can have harems, too. Now, but you created what was out there 20 years. Now, you're stepping back 10 years and going, wow, this is where I was at back then. So you're looking back from the future and going, wow, 10 years ago when I was working, that's when I opened up the 3 restaurant chains, and we expanded our business and added 100 different employees. Start creating the world from you looking back 10 years. Wow, man, we would do man. And I had my friend Mike was involved, and Joe, and Darryl Nell, and we finally got together, created. Now, you want to, like I said, you want to spend at least 10 minutes doing this, and then you want to repeat the exercise, imagining it 5 years. So we went from 20 and we went backwards. Now notice, that's the thing. We're going backwards in time. So we were at 20 years and now we're going back to 10 years. And then we repeat the exercise and we go back 5 years. Wow, man, 5 years ago, I couldn't dream that I would have this nice car, this beautiful woman in my life, and a couple of naughty-headed kids, and that we would be living in Costa Rica. Man, 5 years ago, I just didn't know that was going to happen. Then you want to repeat the exercise again, imagining it is 1 year, then 6 months, and then 3 months from now. So you're coming back from the future. Okay, you're coming back from the future. Now, here is the beginning of your action plan. What must you do today to achieve the life you really want to have and live it, and live in 3 months' time to lead you on to 20 years' time? So you come all the way back from the future, that beautiful future that you created, with all the peace and prosperity, wealth, love, health that you desire. All of that. You come back from the future, and now you're at today. What are you up to today that's going to fulfill or all of that? And you're looking back from the future. Wow, this is what this is when I sat down and I put pen to paper and said, this is what I'm going to do. Now, is there anything pressing where you look and you go, I need to be in action with this right now? Now get out your diary, plan some time to do some things, tell someone, create some support and accountability. Now, the Divas, in one of our earlier courses, we talked about covenants and being able to create covenants. Now, this is distinct from a covenant. And you may be using covenants, and we still say, covenants impact. So you might have some of that mixed in, which is totally okay. But one of the differences is that with a covenant, it's between you and, I'll say, the divine, whatever way that manifests. That's between you and the divine. Because in the covenant, that's who you're making the deal with the divine, the universe, God, Christ, whatever empowers you spiritually. Covenants are always spiritually based in the context of prosperity and being a prosperous thinker. Now, with the Merlin principle and the action plan you're creating, you actually want to get support. You actually want to share with people, and you want to get that committed listener, someone who will support you and will hold you accountable for what you say you want to have for your life. Then, if anything, stick to your word for no one else but you. Don't do it for mama. Don't do it for the wife. Don't do it for the kids. Don't do it for our people. Some of you want to do stuff for our people. Will you leave our people alone? If you take care of you and our demonstration, people will get it. Some people, I'm going to tell you something. I never watched the Oprah Winfrey show, but she made a difference for a whole bunch of people who did. She was not worried about me. She was doing her thing. And if you happen to be one of the ones who a difference got made, hallelujah. But she was not worried. Well, Ronnie B isn't watching my show. I'm not. No, she did her thing. And for those it makes a difference for, it will. But for no one else but you. Now you may make some plans that are for others, but this is for you. And that is your action plan. Now, it's fun to do this exercise with someone else to motivate and so that you can support each other. So you can share the Merlin principle. We are not the divas going, hey, we got a copyright ownership of the Merlin principle. No, the Merlin principle has been around for a long time. So we cannot steal the Merlin principle. But we can share the Merlin principle because it is something that's been it's existed through the ages. It's just that now in today's time, people have the listening where they can get the power of it. So we looked at a couple of things today to create inevitable results. The first being create specific, measurable results. You want to start getting specific in your conversations. You want vagueness to be your enemy. And I'm going to tell you, you will start noticing how many people speak to you in gobbledygook. You'll ask a simple question, they'll give you gobbledygook. Why? They're being vague, or some level of vagueness. Now, you may not know why, but let me tell you, it's not you. It is not you. You would swear that some of these people are politicians. And all you're trying to do is get some business done or provide a service. And you're like, well, wait just a minute. I'm not trying to, my name is, we don't have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, do me, so I can just offer you my service, And it may come across, or you may start noticing that when you speak with your spouse that, my spouse does not tell me what they want. They kind of talk in circles or around, or they do a whole bunch of explaining and never make the point. Vagueness. When people are empowered, people get empowered when you start being specific, because they start being specific. Also, when you start getting specific, you'll find out how many people have been bullshitting. That's right, we said it, how many people have been bullshitting. Because when you get specific and you start putting some by-wins, so that you can get some things done, you will notice how busy, how many issues, how many problems people that you've been counting on got. And you start realizing that, you know what, I may love those people, but they ain't the right ones. They are not the right ones. Then, as we said, integrity. Nothing happens. Nothing happens if you don't have a foundation of integrity. And again, we're not talking about moral integrity. We're not talking about you being bad or wrong. We're talking about workability. Submarine goes under the water, it better have integrity. You can ask my naval friend, Joe Midas Miller. If the submarine goes under the water and is leaking, that's a problem. If your plans have holes in them and you're not doing something to bring integrity to it, you're going to sink. The plan is not going to. Now, I hope you, well, I'm not going to say I hope you. If you enjoyed this evening, if you got value from our presentation tonight, again, we're just giving, this is a flavor of what goes on in our seminar series. Now, we have a 10-session seminar series coming up that starts Thursday, July 28th, Creating Love to Build Wealth. You'll get a 50% discount from participating in the workshops, or if you register for the seminar before, well, I think you get to register before July 22nd, you'll get a 50% discount. It's 10 sessions, and the sessions are like 2.5 hours long. So we really deepen and expand, not really. When you leave one of the seminar sessions, you're fully equipped with tools to act on immediately that will impact immediately We do not give you tools that you got to take forever to work on, figure out. No, we give you work. We give you assignments. We give you the nuts and bolts that you can get your hands around and do the work. So really, and at the seminar series, we have the divas are there, which is really great. And, nothing really gets done. This workshop, Diva Nikki, Diva Nakia, Diva Shani, Goddess Brenda, Quiet Storm, we all strategized and worked on this workshop series so that you get maximum benefit and be able to get a nice flavor of what we offer in our courses. Now, next week, we have a really great workshop. The workshop is absolutely free. Invite your friends, invite people, invite the prosperity thinkers in your life. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you know financial advisors, if you got some financial advisors, some insurance agents, some real estate, some banker people in your life, have them be at the workshop. Have them be at the seminars. One, it empowers them. It gives them something different where they, because you know what we're saying, hey, take it, use it, please, we beg you, take it, spread the love, share it. Nothing that we're doing can't be shared. Now, how we present it, what we do, that's another thing. But the workshop is next Thursday, July 21st, 7 p.m. We'll be looking at complaints and superstitions as an access to wealth. Wow. Complaints and superstitions. And we're not talking about scaring folks into do business with you. Actually, we're looking at your complaints, specifically persistent complaints that are keeping you from having the wealth you want, and superstitions that are keeping you from being creative and having the wealth that you want. Now, we promised that these seminars would be 1 hour and that I wouldn't go over. Officially, this workshop for tonight is complete. I will be speaking a little bit further if you care to listen, but it is actually we've completed the workshop part, and just want to say that it's really great working with the Prosperous Divas. It really is. And what they're creating through these workshops and through these seminar series is something that prosperity thinkers have been looking for a long time. We don't try to snow you or blow smoke up your behind. What we do is speak and have an inquiry, discuss. And through that inquiry and through exercises, you're able to see aspects of how you operate, and how those aspects have gotten you trapped into a matrix, put you into a box where it limits your power and effectiveness and your ability to attract the natural wealth, prosperity that you desire. Desires aren't put in mind so that you can suffer and not achieve them. Those desires, those nuggets, those are there to remind you that there's so much more for you. And when we do these seminars and workshops, they're for you. Now, as I said, we are in the workshops. We're not bestowing our great knowledge and intelligence upon you. We're doing the work. We're doing it. We're bumping up against it. And we're like, oh, no. And I thought I was being specific, and I'm just all vague all over the place. We started looking at it. This weekend, a group of us will be working on creating from the future. There's some goals we want to do for our business, our individual business in life. So we'll be taking that whole Merlin principle. And again, we have seminars where we spend a whole day really going through all the aspects of the Merlin principle. And participating in our workshops and seminars, you get to hang out with some of that stuff. It's really, really good. But I am going to, again, I want to thank you people, and I want to thank the the folks who stuck around after the official workshop ended, but I do want to leave everybody with this last thing. Challenges you face. When something is holding you back, don't add to its negative power. Put your energy into working your way around it. When you see an obstacle in your path, don't continue to curse it or blame it for your lack of progress. Immediately start working to get beyond it. If you hear yourself making excuses, you have a powerful opportunity. Stop making excuses and start making changes that will render those excuses inoperable. Realize that whatever is standing in your way is challenging you to look for new options. Seize that challenge. Find a more workable option and act to implement it. Pause. Pause for just a moment and reconnect yourself with your purpose. Feel the driving power that has already brought you successfully to this point. Then fully apply that power to the challenges you now face. Before long, you have put yourself well beyond them. Thank you again for attending our free workshop, and please, please, please do something good for yourself this weekend. Sayonara.